Hey guys, uh, Max with Schwartz Racing Channel here, and I basically wanted to do a bike check uh, for this channel. I know I don't really update it very frequently, and when I do, it's kind of just miscellaneous uh, footage here or there. But this bike has been in progress for a while, and I'm planning on doing the District 37 Sprint Enduro Series this year. I took this bike out in relatively stock trim, and it was hard to ride. It was sporadic. No modifications had been done to the engine, minus the FMF pipe here. Stock front pipe. All I had really was just protection on the bike at that time. So it was one of those things that it kind of bothered me, and I wanted some more rideability out of this bike. So fast forward to now the season's coming up. First race here is in January, and we got the bike kind of settled. So basically what we did is we got, I think the biggest part of this puzzle is going to be the Slavens, sold from Slavens, the GET ECU to go along with the S3 low elevation head. But don't quote me on this, I do think that it is a higher compression head. There's more specs on that through Slavens, and they sell it as a recommended part, I think, to go with the GET ECU. And you know what? It works really good. It's a really good product. It's relatively inexpensive, considering the ECU itself is about $1,000. It's something that I wish you didn't have to do to some of these bikes. Some run really good out of the box. My dad has got a 2022, the Rockstar Edition. Don't know if that has anything to do with it, but that thing runs pretty good. This thing has always ran really sporadic, really lean, and it's been one of those things that's frustrating, because as someone who rides more four strokes coming up into this bike, I couldn't really vibe with the power. It was really weird. It felt like it either had a lot of low end and then like wide open, close to wide open. This 3/4 of a throttle where, four-stroke riders, you can use a lot, and, most people should be able to use a lot. It just didn't like to ride in that zone. So the GET ECU, working with Slavens, they have a tuner that will call you up after you buy it, and they work on you with what mods you have done to the bike. They have a really good information source when it comes to getting that set up. And basically I said I want map 1 to be a wide open kind of desert map, and this runs up to the map switch, which you get with the kit. And map 2, I wanted as a softer, more extreme enduro, more usable map. And so you can kind of see here, I got that's the map 1 setting, and I have it labeled H for what I call hard, and then I have it in the map 2 setting for what I call soft. And I don't know exactly what they do with the timing on that map. I know from the factory map switch, which is still installed right here. The second map was a retarded timing map that kind of, I would say it kind of smoothed out power. To me, it just felt like it cut off half of the power band, cut off like the top of the range there, and kind of delayed the ignition timing, so it was kind of smoother. It was probably the smoothest map I could have on this bike in stock trim. And the problem was with it running so lean and being so sporadic and having that throttle response that was just really, really terrible in my opinion. It made it difficult to ride. And so now with that setup that cleared that whole issue is gone, and it's rideable. Now it's a weapon. I didn't do the injector relocator kit on it. It's just the head and the ECU, and I love it. It's enough power for me. It's enough power to do, you know, majority of my riding. I still have some testing to do, getting it dialed in, and that's how it's great. I love it. You know, it was quite pricey, but at the end of the day, this thing is way more versatile of a weapon, and yeah, should have a lot more usability out of that. So engine, definitely TPI, guys. If you love this chassis, and I know that the 2024 TE300 they changed the frame, and you know, I didn't do too much research on those, but I pretty much stuck with the 2023 and been trying to figure out how to get as much performance out of it. But I love this chassis. This chassis you really can't go wrong with. The frame flexes kind of in that really predictable Husky way. You know, it's actually my first bike with linkage, and you know what? I love the chassis on this, and so getting the engine up to par is really important. And if you're kind of new to the TPIs like I was, and the 300s in general, I was a big fan of them. I just never could really afford a new bike until I got this thing. And so one thing I will say in addition to the engine is get your power valve setting down. And the power valve setting is something that can really hinder or help your experience. If you have it set up in a spot to where the power comes on too early, it's going to be ripping your arms off. If you have it set to where it's coming on too late, you're going to be waiting for that. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, I use that crack of the throttle. I use that initial 3/4 for all zaps for, and I'm not a, you know, pro hard enduro rider. I do like the whole range of enduro, from slow to hard to hill climbs to fast up to desert speeds. I'd say my riding's somewhere in the middle. I really like that crack of the throttle right where that kind of eighth to the 3/4. Hence to why I had so much issue with the previous ECU settings. And that being said, also, and I kind of don't mean to get back to the engine, but the factory ECU doesn't allow you to adjust any fuel richness or oil injection settings. And that is what I talked to with the Slavens ECU guy about, was getting that fixed. And that's where the GET ECU offers that tunability that we don't get from Husky or get from KTM or Gas. Pretty much because I don't know if they're running out of time to make these bikes. I don't know what it is. Or, you know, they're obviously in a situation now, but you know, it sucks, and it's a shame, because you know, a lot of devoted Husky and KTM enthusiasts such as myself, you know, we love the reliability, we love the kinds of these machines, and you know, it sucks when you have to throw investment at a motorcycle to get it to work right. And I love the bike, that's why I did it, and I'm planning on using this bike for the next 3 or 4 years at least. And yeah, so getting this whole engine setting, you know, it's something that not a lot of people maybe want to touch, but for people like me that love to tinker and get things exactly how I want it, unfortunately, this is kind of the route I've had to go to get it the way I want. And so yeah, that's you know, engine 2.0 for this video, I guess. But rest of the bike is really just it's stock, just some protection. I got the Tusk, sorry, it's kind of dark, but the Tusk radiator guards. Honestly, guys, I didn't cut it, and I kind of had to pressurize the plastic on there to get it to fit. You guys might be a little more tech savvy on that, and I'm just too lazy to pull out the Dremel. And but those do work good. They're pretty light. I will say they're light, just pretty close in weight to stock, and you get a little bit better protection. I will say though, stock on the, can't really see, but stock on the inside of the plastic, that they do have a big plastic, beefed up plastic protector on the side that these don't have. And so to me, if you're going to kerplunk on rocks, fall over, this is hitting hard aluminum. And I mean, it's great, but I don't know if you guys do RC cars, but sometimes if you swap out a plastic part for a metal part, you know, that metal part starts pressurizing other spots. Don't know if this really applies here. I mean, it's all kind of the same. I mean, whatever, but I can't really say. I really did it mainly for the bling factor, I'm not gonna lie. But the stocks did do pretty good, and they had that extra cushion right there. So plastic to radiator versus plastic on hard aluminum, don't know. But just my 32 cents on that. And but yeah, just some bling on here. Foot pegs, I would say the stock ones to me were a little narrow. And these, I kind of just had them laying around. My pops got them for his bike and didn't end up putting them on. And I found that on this chassis, one thing at first, I was a little out of shape last year when I rode it out in the desert, is this section is really, really slim. And there's not a whole lot of nooks if you have boots that maybe are a little worn. I made the mistake of running some grip tape right here, which kind of had a different effect on the grip. Was it wore down the side of my Garnets, the SG12s, and kind of made it hard to grip onto the bike. And with the stock foot peg, I felt like I was falling off it. And so maybe I guess this just in the foot peg, this little bit of material right here, a little bit of extra length or width, I guess you could say, a little extra width to the overall size of the foot peg. Gave me a little bit better platform. I switched boots up to the Liette 5.5 boots, the Johnny Walker edition, and they grip this really good. As you can see, start getting into the graphic and whatever. Just we'll say that I'm able to grip the bike a lot better with this combo, with this foot peg, and maybe just not even this brand, this optimized Enduro brand, but maybe just an aftermarket brand. I was thinking of switching up to the Slavens Slavens sold S3 Raptor pegs, and they got them, and I will say Slavens has a lot of that good stuff. They've been really good about having a good part selection. S3 is kind of hard to find here in the States, and so maybe if you know where you can get S3 parts other than Slavens, definitely let me know. But yeah, those optimized Enduro pegs, they do pretty good. They have a similar shape to, I think, Bulletproof makes a set, and I got the Bulletproof front brake or rear brake little pedal there, and then got a little brake snake hook to that guy. And yeah, so I will say this foot peg, an aftermarket foot peg, combined with the Acer Bs right here, combined with a better boot for me, helped me to get a little bit better traction on the back of that thing. And wheels, I'm running just some takeoffs from an older KTM. I didn't really want to beat, I'm really hard on wheels, and so I don't want to beat the stock wheels up and kind of preserve those for a little bit. And I'm running the Shinko. Let's see, the Shinko, I think it's the 505, the cheater. I'm kind of old school on tires, guys. I'd say I'm probably about 5 years behind the technology. This is definitely an older cheater. I think there's a lot more new tires and brands that I haven't tried yet, just because I've kind of had these laying around. And I don't run mooses. I just got tubes. Honestly, I don't even know if it's a heavy duty tube or a normal tube. I've just been running them. They work kind of good for my riding style. I will say, in my opinion, tire profile can affect what you're going to get. Again, not an expert. That's just my 32 cents on it. But, whatever. This is still something that I'm kind of working on, getting a good tire setup to go with the chassis. And, you don't really know that if you run tires through their whole lifetime, because they do change shape, they do change height. I want something that's going to be kind of predictable, and I think that's why I shoot more for the Shinkos, because they wear in a way that it's not going to, but it seemed to keep its profile pretty good. This is probably about half-life of a tire, and so Shinko, I do like the tires, but there's probably better options, honestly. So one of the cool thing is I am running here is get this from Slavens as well, is the anti-chain tangle eliminator. It's buy two ride. I can't really, I'm gonna see if I can put my phone in here. It's kind of Two-ride bulletproof designs. I've never had a chain come off, but I thought it was a good product. Again, riding hard enduro, and I'm gonna say this, I don't like to get myself stuck in the hills for hours on end. I usually ride within my vehicle. I like to use my vehicle as a base, and I'll do 3 or 4 hours, but within the same vicinity. I like to kind of pick my riding more specialized for what I'm trying to practice. And but it's one of those things. It's like a safety thing. I feel like if I have more safety precautions on the bike, that if something happens, I'll be able to get out of it, get back to wherever we're supposed to go. And that's just one of those dumb things. I've never had a chain come off, but at the same time, I've never had a chain come off. So maybe it could happen. Maybe you hit a rock. Some of you guys probably have had that happen. It's a good product. It fits on there. I'd recommend probably taking the wheel off first and then putting it on. This is kind of a pain in the butt to stretch it around the top of the spokes. Again, it just kind of sits there. You can kind of see it right there. Hopefully it works. I think it's gonna work. The videos online that showed it off look pretty good. So yeah, that's that. I'm running the vented airbox on this. I don't know if it helps, but if it does, why not try it? I did watch on Jeff Slavens' personal 300 build that he did, I think, take out a little bit on the KTM airbox. I think it's basically on the KTM, part of the pieces that presses in, you could buzz out a little bit that doesn't hinder the locking in mechanism to get a little bit more airflow. I think that works a little bit more in 4 strokes, but honestly, I don't know. This thing's kind of an experiment. So seeing if it works right now. Got the black one on. I tried I tried cutting out my stock airbox that had the graphics on it. Again, should have used the Dremel. And that step bit likes to slide sometimes, and let's just say that stock airbox cover didn't last very long. And so yeah, we got this guy on as a replacement, vented. You can kind of see the airbox, just running a stock style filter in there. The pre-oiled ones, you can get them from anywhere. I'm not running anything BoyOS, and it's just a sticker. And got the Tusk shifter here. Realistically, I do think the stock one might be a little bit better. I only say that because the stock has a different shape, and this is more of your traditional shape. I really put this on so I could have my stock one as a takeoff in case something happened to this one on the trail or in a race. So as far as I know, it works good as a shifter. I got the Tusk TPI guard right there. Just some more billet protection. I do have the Tusk billet protector down in there, the exhaust flange, and I will say I'm kind of OCD about my pipe. I'm not an old school 2-stroke guy that likes to bang that thing up. I think it looks ugly as hell. So granted, I try to not bonk it for my own sanity, and I do got this P3 carbon guard on here, and it works really good. Or no, I'm sorry, it's not P3, it's E-Line. Again, guys, I'm not sponsored by anybody, so I'm a 100% self-sponsored rider. I fund all of my own machines, all my own bikes. I don't know, maybe some sponsors one day, most likely not. So a lot of these are just hard parts from places that are competitive, and that's Rocky Mountain right now. They have a lot of competitive hard parts. Slavens is really good for tech, and I bought this bike from Jet World up in Castaic, California. Dan is one of my longtime buddies, and they're really good. Dan's a really informative guy over there. So yeah, this is just people that I got the bike from, and places I use to buy stuff for the bike. And just I don't know what to say about how everyone else likes to go about sponsors and stuff like that, but as a self-funded rider, this stuff is relatively affordable if you can throw the money at it. A lot of this is mainly just bling and protection, but if you guys are gonna modify one of these bikes, the TPI bikes, and probably even the TBI bikes too, is you gotta do the ECU. That's unfortunately the biggest thing that changes the characteristics of this machine's overall handling. And so yeah, that's this side of the engine. All stock over here, just minus the different wheels, tires, and the bling. And then front here, I got the AS3 rotor guard. I will say this came from the UK, and it looks like an Acer Bees, but it doesn't have the vents of the Acer Bees. I've never ran one of these up until this point, and I like having this thing in here. It makes me feel like I can bonk into something and not not break anything. And then got these. These are the 8. I'm blanking on the type of plastic, but these are from XSS, and they make the. I'm just gonna call it super heavy duty plastic. These are good. If you guys hard enduro guys, even just normal enduro guys, you guys know that if you're in rocks, this area is always gonna get beat up. And I like my forks. I like my I like my clamps, so I don't want them to get that beat up. And this is kind of just making the bike drop proof, crunch proof, rock proof, all the proofs you can get. And yeah, so these, again, pretty affordable. I got the dual set that works good. I just had to cut out a little bit of material right here on the AS3 plastic fin. And yeah, I like this. It gives the bike a lot more protection. It looks kind of aggressive from the front. And yeah, so all this just protection. I like to try and extend my bike's life as much as possible. And I'm actually running an old stock Brembo caliper, Brembo front rotor, and it's probably seen some time on there, but honestly, it bites pretty good still. So again, I'm not 100% finicky about all things. Some things do bother me. I'd say engine is my most important thing, and chassis, brakes, all this stuff, you know, they're wear items, and so you're gonna get opportunities to change them and mess with them. So again, this is just a set of takeoffs of the wheels, and you know, it's just what you guys want to run. And I don't want to run this stuff specifically, but whatever your preference is, it's gonna affect some of your chassis characteristics. But big thing is engine, suspension, get your sag figured out. That being said, again, I don't know the exact millimeters sag I run. All I know is I kind of scooted the ass down a little bit. It was a little tall from the factory for me, so I'm kind of a short rider. I'm about 5'9", and I don't got that long of legs. So I will say, as an overall height of this bike, this TE300 from the factory is actually pretty short. I don't have the exact seat height on me right now, but yeah. So this is the kind of stuff that's really going to affect your chassis. Is get your sag. This is going to affect overall feeling and performance of your chassis. I had to scooch the bars back a little bit, get the ergos to kind of fit. There's all these things from a factory. I've always bought used bikes, and used bikes from relatively the same size riders as me, actually. Kind of know a couple of those guys personally that I bought used bikes off of. And you know, they all kind of come some certain way, but from the factory, it can really hinder, you know, how your bike performs and how you perceive riding your bike. Because if stuff like this is off, it's going to really hinder you. So take the time to get in here, adjust these, adjust your bar angle, adjust your controls. All this stuff really helps. And for suspension, I like it kind of soft. I like it like a Cadillac. I like this. So I run it. Basically what I do is I do a zero out on the bike. Is I zero the compression, I zero the rebound out on shock and fork, and I get it like as slow coming up as possible, as soft as possible. And from there, I'll ride it, and I like it like a trials bike almost. And so that way, it just kind of suits my riding style. And from there, I went up 5 clicks all around. So I don't have the manual. I can't tell you exactly what that is, but it's really soft. It's pretty soft still. Tires, not doing the Moose thing yet, but from there, I'll run tire PSI, maybe about 10 PSI. I don't really care about these wheels. If I crack one, I'm gonna be totally fine, because I got another set of stock wheels, and I got some other takeoffs too from older bikes. I will say, if you do have an older set of Excel wheels or DID Dirt Stars, you can run an old set of wheels. The back's gonna work. What you do need to do on the front is you need to change the adapter. And so you can see that See that right there? That new piece right there, that's the front axle adapter to fit on these, because these are indeed have a smaller axle on them. And so if you need that adapter, really easy. You just punch out the old ones, use a flat blade and a hammer or whatever. And so punch them out, press these new guys on with some grease, and there you go. You could run an older set of wheels. And yeah, so that's kind of it. Again, this is my first kind of video like this for you guys. I hope you know, not too annoying on my setup and diagnosis of this machine. And yeah, I'd love to hear your guys' feedback on any modifications you guys do on your bikes, or the TPI bikes in general. And yeah. Oh, and I will say the graphics, just Rocky Mountain, you know, Rocky Mountain. I basically wanted something to go with my gear color set a little bit better, red, black, and white, and maybe a little bit of neon on there. And yeah, so that's it. Let me know if you guys got any questions, and if at least you guys maybe might have been a little entertained. Just kidding. All right, have a good one. Bye.